Okay, next we will look at process selection. Let me check the recording have done. Okay. Next we look at process selection. We have done outsourcing decision already. Then second session we look at process selection. So process selection, we can use product process metrics. So you can explain about your assignment later on, why you can say that you are doing a project, why you are doing batch production, why you are doing mass production and continuous production. You can use product process metrics to help you to define your question or instruction. So how do you plot product metrics? On the left hand side is volume, meaning the product volume. Volume means number that you produce. Okay, so from low to high on your y-axis, x-axis from low to high also. This one is more on the standardization. What I mean by standardization means you have a different set of rules to control the process. Okay, you have different set of rules to control the process. So from low to high. So you have two, volume versus standardization. It's called product process metrics. We're going to explain what is project, batch production, mass production, and continuous production. This one might come up as your assignment question, or maybe a little bit part in final exam. So let's define projects. As you can see from the diagram, projects is both low and low. Means if your products, if you're producing a low volume, low quantity, and you need low standardization compared to other process, then you fall under projects definition. What does it mean? Means your production process, when it's a project, means that the standardization is low and volume is low. One of example, this one, in short, project is one at a time production, means you only do one at a time production of a products to customer order. For example, at your household, you like to bake cakes. Every day you can only one, or every weekend or every month you only make one special cake, or every year you only make one special cake for the birthday boy or birthday girl, or for your mom or father. It falls under projects. Means you only make one cake and different low standardization. This process is very, the standardization number is very, very low compared to other process. Okay, so that one I give you a baking cakes example. Another commercial example is building ship, or building submarine, or building an aircraft. Building ship, you can only build one ship at a time. Consider this building ship production process fall under projects definition. Okay, how do you know that the project is, how do you know that the production process is a project? The keyword is one at a time. For example, shipbuilding. Okay, low. Okay. Now, how these slides will help you in maybe in tests. I'll give you an example. By using product process metrics, give an example of a project. Give an example of batch production. Give an example of mass production. Give an example of continuous production. You need to give example of the production process. I give you one already. So the example that you see on the PowerPoint slides, you cannot be used in your test or final exam. I say it one more time. Example that you see in the PowerPoint slides cannot be used in test, assignment, or final exam. Example that you see in the lecture, you cannot use the example that you see that we discussed on my PowerPoint slides. You cannot use as an answer in test or final exam or even in your assignment. Okay, What happens if you use, I already warned you, and you still use it? There will be no marks given if you mention ship production in the projects. So you need to do your homework to go and find out what are the other examples that can fall under projects. The keyword is one at a time production. Your process only can process one big projects at one time. Okay, do not use example that you see on the PowerPoint slides that we discussed in lecture. There will be no marks given if you use the example in PowerPoint slides. Okay, I need to stress that. Okay, so you need to think. Our class, we should motivate you to think out of the example. This is just a trigger point for you to think. Okay, all right. So one of the evidence criteria to fall under projects, they will take a long time to complete, and you need a large investment. Long period of time, big investment. And most of the time, you can only produce one item to consumer order. Very low numbers. Then you fall under projects. Okay. We move to second production processes. We call it batch production. As you can see from the matrix here, batch production, they have a higher standardization compared to projects and higher volume compared to projects. The keyword here is that you will see processing many different jobs at the same time in batches or in groups. Okay, the keyword there is batch production, meaning in the production floor you will see many different jobs at the same time. For example, bakery factory or bakery production is fall under batch production because the volume is higher than projects. Standardization is higher than projects. This is a bakery example. You will go through different process at the same time. The keyword is all this process happen at the same time. Making the dough happen same time when you try to bake the bread at the same time. Everything happen at the same time. You have many process, but many process happen at the same time. Okay, it fall under batch production. This is a bakery factory example. Again, I show it second time. Example that you see in the PowerPoint, that you see in the lecture, you cannot use in test, assignment, and final exam. If you're still going to use example when this kind of question come up, if the question asks you, give an example of batch production or a production process that fall under batch production, you still use bakery production, you will get 0 marks for that component. I already warned you. Okay, so you need to think other example that meet processes at the same time. Processes at the same time for under batch production. Okay, as your homework, go and think what other example that fall under batch production. Another criteria to help you in yellow color. So the products, usually they are made according to customer order or customized order. Okay, so there will be a specific order size, and the volume is low. Volume is low, and there is a demand fluctuation. Demand fluctuation, meaning the demand is not constant. The demand sometimes big, sometimes low, sometimes high, sometimes low. It falls under batch production. So go and think of one industry that fall under batch production. The industry fall under batch production. Keyword, you have many process, and all these processes happen at the same time. And the volume is low, and the demand fluctuates. Try to think what industry fall under batch production. The third one, mass production. The word mass itself means large volume. So you can see if you fall under mass production, you will have a large volume of both standard. Okay, so you'll fall quite high for standard, quite high for volume. So the keyword for mass production is large volume. And the next keyword is standard products. Large volume, standard product means same product. Large volume, standard products. Large volume, same products. Or you can standardize the products. Cater for mass market. I give you one example. Glove. Glove, you produce end products in carton, in boxes, and million pairs of glove. This one in large volume. And you are only making one product, for example, glove. The whole production line are producing standard products, which is, in this case, glove. Okay, so you can see there's a differences between batch and mass production. Mass production is large volume, standard products. This is the criteria. Product demand is stable. Batch production, demand fluctuate up and down for batch production. However, when it comes to mass production, demand is stable. Meaning every month there will be a demand for glove, for example. Okay? All the surgical theater, hospital, health industry, safety industry, you need glove. Okay? Stable. And product volume is high. So this is the criteria that you can think of. What are the examples of mass production or production process that fall under mass production that give you large volume and only produce single products? And the demand is high. volume is high, demand is stable. Try to think about it. Okay. The last one. Continuous production. Continuous production, the word tell you already, continuous, means it doesn't stop. Why it doesn't stop? Because standardization is high and volume is super high. Continuous production is more volume than the mass production and more standardization compared to the rest of the three. So the keyword for continuous production process that fall under continuous production is very high volume commodity products. If you want to give example for continuous production, look for the keyword commodity products. I give you an example. Oil and gas industry. Petrol you need every day, and they come in a very high volume when they sell it. They sell in billion and sometimes million barrel to cater for the needs of the daily life. So this is the criteria that fall under continuous production. System is highly automated, and normally works 24 hours, meaning the system or the production floor doesn't stop. It works for 24 hours. Try to think of one example in that fall under continuous production. This is your homework. Yeah? So each one of the production process here, I have a yellow box to help you to think about it. Okay, so that is your homework. Okay, right. And again, example that you see in my PowerPoint slides, you cannot be used in test, assignment, and final exam. Okay. This is the table that will help you to sort and look at. So for example, you have 4 columns: projects, batch, mass, and continuous. So it gives you very detailed explanation on the criteria. For example, type of products. If they fall under continuous, it under commodity, and so on. You can see the volume, the demand, and what are difference. Okay, and yeah, this example here, you can have a look. Okay, so when you give answer in, if you give answer in your test or final exam, sometimes you can be more specific and give the brand of that industry. Okay, yeah, although here mention very general industry, for example, this one and this one and this one. So you know there's a brand of this one, there's a brand of this one more general. You can give something that related to this word and something related to this word. Okay, so I hope this table will help you to have a more general view on the 4 types of production processes: project, batch, mass, and continuous. Okay. All right, so next lecture we'll look at break-even analysis. But here we stop at this table. Your homework is to think about what is example under project, what is example under batch, what example under mesh, what example under production. Are you able to elaborate on the example that you give? Why it fall under this one? 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 And so. Okay, with this I end the recording.